I'm just on the outskirts of Bunny Pond now, and I'm going to just have this video running along the mad busy highway. On the way to Kathmandu. So this is still Bunny Pond really. Stay the night. Just got to get the horizon right. Get past the tuk-tuk. The smoke behind some of these vehicles is horrendous. You don't want to be following. You've got to watch passing and hope that the bus pulls over. Some of the local guys, they just go for it. I'm a bit more careful. You see, he's turning, so that's good then. Got to watch the bikers coming at you too. They don't respect the white line. So those buses can pull up anywhere, and they see a passenger, there's another 100 rupee, another $1. And they'll pull up, and often without brake lights. So I was in the same area on my first day on this bike, but I went into the back of a bus at slow speed, but it took me off. Very hot and dusty time of the year. And pretty busy too. Visit Nepal, it says on the back of the bus. Come on bus, find a customer. And pull over. Actually, you know what? I need some gas. I want to get some gas. He almost was wanting to stop me. No phone, no horn. Might make a spark. The place could go up. Yeah, the old gas stations. You know, the year of the earthquake was the year of the Constitution, and people weren't happy. 1,000.
1,000?
Yep, if it fits. 1,000 rupee, that's like $12 New Zealand. You can see you. Yep, it fits.
Too much.
Not too much. 1,000. Here we go. He's holding the money. You can't get a coffee at these gas stations.
How much? How much?
Horrible. He speaks English. How much? Ramru. Speaking good English. So, now I've got to get across this traffic. See how that goes. I think I see a gap for this wagon. Yeah. So this is the main highway to Kathmandu, and they're widening it slowly. Some of the buildings were too close to the road. Over there designated, oh, I'm passing this guy again. Yeah, a few years ago they were coming along with a digger and smashing the fronts of people's shops or dwellings that were being over the highway land, with having this widening in mind. But this will take years, but it's the main highway kind of west, east of the capital. So they'll start doing some work on it. I think this bike's the same as mine. Yeah, you can see some road works down there. So they normally do all the side bits first, the gutterings and retaining walls, before they start on the road in the middle. So that can take forever, it can go on for years, and often they damage the road when they're doing all that drainage, drains and retainers. So the road is just a nightmare, a dusty, potholed thing for 2-3 years, from what I've seen and experienced. Very hazy. I apologise for Nepal, but it's that time of the year, not a lot of rain. Hasn't really rained since the last monsoon, September last year, when it went through the cold season, which is lovely. But the best time for the views is right at the end of the raining season for a couple of weeks. The sky's been washed of dust, and suddenly the clouds go away and you see the Himalayas in all their glory, even from downtown Kathmandu. So you've got to make the most of it, because then it starts to get hazy and dusty, and you notice it on your lungs. Often friends from Jerry, which is halfway to Everest Base Camp, spend a few days in Kathmandu and they start coughing, and it's the dust, basically. Horrible dust. And it was dust here when, after the earthquake, a lot of the roads broke up, and then they started doing the ring road, and just turned up a lot of dust. So it's got to improve. Kathmandu would be one place where you can really deal with electric vehicles, especially those vehicles that belch out a lot of dust, like trucks and buses. This old truck's well laden down, and it's a 2-lane road. You can see the problem, can't you? And it's so busy. and then bikes will come up behind you and push in front. Take the first opportunity to pass. But if I see a spot like now, I will. So basically, where I can see the big Hindu god on the hill there, we're heading down into the valley now of Kathmandu. We've left the satellite cities of Banipar and Gulakal. See the big swing bridge up there, obviously going across to the big stone statue idol, which is colossal. It's up there somewhere. It's only been built about 5 years after the earthquake. Maybe they often think that we've got to please the gods so we don't get another killer earthquake. I just turned now, you can see it up there behind the billboards that watch the road, because they're coming around the wrong side of the road at you. So I'm joining the fray. This is one of the busier roads coming into the capital. I'm looking across the valley now, but it's so hazy. There's this guy on the bike just pushing along, oblivious to what would come behind him. I kind of figured if you're in a hurry, you're just going to be coming up to buses all the time. So you slow down a bit and you still come up to buses. This is often have traffic stopping here for this little market. Vegetables look lovely. That creates its own issues. There's this guy. You don't actually gain a lot passing a motorbike, because they'll often pass you back. I'm giving you an education on the kind of driving and riding around here. So you can see how the buses slow everything up and cause people to want to pass, overtake. We've got a bus up the front there. Well, my phone just stopped, but I only missed a couple hundred metres, and give it the verbal command to start again. So you get right down into the valley and you get into a 4-lane highway. So, you know, this is just a racetrack here, frustrated drivers trying to get past, and I'm over it. I have done a lot of overtaking, but it's all a bit dodgy, and yeah, if you go around the corner there's another bus anyway. So you can see the city spreading up here now. Bit of an opportunity here. Get past this bus. Take the Sura. The little Suzuki in front is your typical Kathmandu taxi. They're tiny. I was amused by them. They're all over the city, and the tourists would be squashing into them. 2 or 3 or 4 maximum. Not a lot of room in the boot either. Germany, they use Mercedes, and they're probably made in India by the Suzuki company set up there. brought across the border. See some old broken buildings on the side, remnants remnants of the earthquake. Not a lot of visible signs anymore. Two old buildings. So I'm only doing 35 to 38 kilometres an hour, which is about it. To get onto the ring road you can get up to 70 maybe. That bus is stopping. So he failed to turn off his indicator. Well, he wants to stop, but he doesn't know where. He puts the indicator out, asking passengers to hop on board. Look at the congestion here, eh? Fully laden trucks, very slow up this hill. Still descending into the valley, into the hazy valley. There's a couple of brickworks down this area, adding to the smoke. They make their own bricks in Nepal. Indented labour maybe, child labour maybe, possibly a bit less than there once was. But heard stories of families basically live at their brickworks and enslaved there, given a bowl of rice a day. And yet they make proselytisation illegal in here, thinking that the low caste are vulnerable to conversion with the promise of a bowl of rice. And yet they'll work in a brick factory for a bowl of rice a day. There's some bricks down there, freshly made, stacked up. Yeah. So I think we passed the city of Bhaktapur as we arrive on the outskirts. Now Bhaktapur is one of the original kingdoms of the valley. Kathmandu was 3 kingdoms. Yeah, the Kathmandu valley was 3 kingdoms of the downtown, and Bhaktapur and the Patan. And they all have their own temple areas. It's kind of a tourist attraction now, and a lot of damage occurred to them. But every king would add his own temple or palace into that area. So he'd surround himself with the gods, protect or whatever. Or he had the money to build, and the slaves. Yeah, so it's still known as those 3 areas, the Kathmandu Valley. I forget the name of the downtown temple or kingdom, but I think it's the Durbar Square and the Bhaktapur Temple Square and the Patan, which is nearby where I stay in Jawalakal. It's kind of southwest part of the city. And Bhaktapur had many historic buildings that suffered in the earthquake. So some of those old artisans got carving again, or they quickly learnt to copy the old carvings. There's also a caste called the Nawari, and they were the craftsmen, and are very clever at carving and carpentry. Everyone's trying to turn the wheel, but this bus will try and get in. I have passed on the inside here in the dust before, when this has been really congested. And here is another opportunity to take out that bus. You'd never do that in New Zealand, would you? Sometimes those opportunities is almost a safer way to get past a bus. Just don't knock down a pedestrian. I'm going to do that again with this old tractor. See these funny bended tractors? I'm showing you all the bad habits. Find my own road. So yeah, I guess 20-30 years ago there was hardly a bike or a car in Nepal, and I've gone from that, a country of walking tracks, hardly a road, to this, what you see, and building of more roads, which they reckon doesn't help much, just increases the traffic. But it's only 3% of households in Nepal own a car. I see in some census news, but 27% of households have a bike. It's a lot of bikes, as is in the rest of Asia, as is this tourist, because on four wheels you basically go in the same speed. It's the slowest vehicle, especially in this kind of stuff. So this here is the beginning of a 4-lane road. So it's just as busy, and you have to be very careful of crossing traffic because they don't really respect it as a highway in Nepal. It's basically just another road, and once someone starts to cross, the other ones will bunch in with them and force the highway travellers to pull up. So a friend of mine got a broken wrist from someone crossing the highway, the ring road. So I don't want that to happen. So if you do fall off, don't put your hand down. I don't know how else to fall off a bike. God forbid. Take it easy. Keep an eye out for everyone. Expect the worst pedestrian or driver. Go the same speed as the rest. Well, not as slow as the slowest, but never get there. So what do you think? Yeah, mad traffic of Nepal. You see, it's quickly turning from a rural society to a city dwelling one. The young people don't want to stay on the farm. And so they've all congested into the city, and then they don't find a job here. They go along to agencies like like Manpower to find a job overseas. because there's a huge population of young people in their 20s. I don't know what they put in the water 20 years ago, but it was kind of the end of the Maoist war, and the PAL settled down, the soldiers went home, and a baby boom occurred. I mean, not everyone was fighting in the rebel war of the Maoist, but yeah, these are all in their 20s now. There's 1 million or so, or more, I think probably 3 million, working overseas, majority in the Middle East. And I met them on the Korean flight from Seoul. I've met them in Kuala Lumpur airport, and then a few to other places in Europe if they can get a visa. My friend Jim wants me to bring home some workers for the restaurants, so I've talked to a few, Jim, and they get a bit of an interested look in the eye, but it's a bit to work through, isn't it? So I don't know, I stopped in at a Japanese school today. People learn some Japanese for a year or two before they go there, find a job. Maybe it is the Japanese government stipulates a certain level in Japanese speaking. So this isn't really the ring road yet. Not till we get near the airport, we turn onto the ring road, circulates the city. This is just really the highway, bypassing Baktapura, which on one side or the other, not sure. And I'll stop the video, turn it back on when we get to some really big traffic. Stop recording. So you stop recording for a while, and then something interesting happens, like goat from the pedestrian crossing, and a shell of a high-rise building which hasn't been touched since the earthquake. I've seen one high-rise building which they stalled, but about 4 years later they finished it, and someone said they just beefed up the bottom pillars that were cracked and got on with it. In New Zealand they'll probably say, pull it down, start again. And I suppose once they brick it all in, it makes the building sturdier. You can imagine 10 stories high, just on vertical pillars, without the bracing. All that weight above would start to flex around and crack the concrete. So these are the ones I'm worried about, they want to cross. Pedestrians, you just use some caution, give them a wide berth. So usually you whiz along these strips of the highway, and then you come up against traffic lights like this, and the bikes try to find a gap and get up front a little bit, and all I do is get in front of one bus, and they filter through. Hello.
Hi.
Say hello to some traffic. Get mum on the back. Your wife? No family on the bike? Okay. See this grey van? Toyota Hiace. I used to travel a lot on those to go to Jerry. They're called the micro van. There they go, trying to cross the road and all the traffic on green light. Life is cheap in Nepal. You'll probably come to that conclusion by the way I drive. I just learned it off everyone else. How's that go? Is there light? I can't see the back of the camera from this helmet, so I've just stopped to get it going again. So the guy calling out, he's the bus boy, and asking for anyone wanting a ride. It's a madhouse. Let's go. Yeah, so see, there's no traffic lights or policemen here except these on the side. So basically it's free for all. Take the opportunity to cross this highway, but when you're on the highway, look out for such cross traffic. So yeah, there's the odd little hill in the Kathmandu Valley, but I think many hundreds of years ago it was one big swamp, and the water was kind of trapped, and the river that runs through empties out through some big rocks, and the Hindu and the Buddhist both have their own story of who cracked the rock. I'm going to stay on the side of this yellow line because the policeman can come along and say turn off because you're not in the right lane. So you got to watch them. I've only started this helmet video recording in the last. This guy hasn't even turned his bike on. Old fella. Oh, here we go. We are approaching the airport part of Kathmandu, where we turn left onto the ring road for me to go to Jawalakal, the southwestern part of the city. There's another traffic light up ahead. I've got 6 gears on this bike, so it's not too bad on the open road. Probably not as smooth as a road bike though, but it's a dual purpose. I'd rather be on this bike in the mud up the mountainside in the rainy season. We'll stop here, let that lot go. I'll find the neutral gear. Don't have to hold the clutch in. So a lot of people travel by bus. There's so many of these buses in Nepal. Like I said, only 3% of the population of households have a car. And so many work in the cities and go home to the village to see their mum and dad and spend some time in the country. And they get on the bus. Like the start of Formula 1 MotoGP, racing ahead. We'll get there 2 minutes earlier to the next traffic lights. Well, you know, I didn't really use a motorbike when I was young, and it's probably a good thing. because you know you had that extra testosterone and adrenaline and risk taking, and I probably would have fallen off. Instead I just did windsurfing, whitewater kayaking, surfing, trekking and push bike trekking. Is that what you call it? Thank you, madam. I didn't want to stop you too long because you've got impatient drivers coming up behind you. Yeah. I think that was a new bridge 5 years ago. So you see these buses, they just stop in the lane and slows everything down, and then they just want to pull out of there in front of everybody. So, you know, if you're big, you have the right of way in Nepal. So, would you like to live in Kathmandu? Some suburbs are a bit quieter. You have your own little haven. Where I stay is not too bad. Jawalakal is not quite as frantic. Has been near to the highways. Royal Enfield bike in front, old classic. You can't quite fit though, can you? There you go, you made it. Got to take the opportunities. Some people hate these scooters. They get in the way. This is the Sumo. There's a lot of those on the road south out of Kathmandu. They're made by Tata, the Indian company, the Sumo. So some roads don't have as many of the big buses, but they have a lot of the Sumos as a bus for the public. This is quite busy, eh? Actually, I want to get over to the left. I want to get over to the left a bit, because this is one of the turns left, a bit more convenient. Pulling over and turn left onto the ring road. So this little road just appeared. It must be for buses or something, or use the congestion for the traffic entering left onto the ring road. So yeah, the airport's on my right. You can see a few landing lights. And this is the ring road. Now here we are. So that's that's kind of the service lane on the left. Well no, there's another one right against the buildings. There's a service lane. There's just another lane. It's pretty warm in Kathmandu. I've just got a t-shirt and a jacket. That's making me quite hot. I think I could upgrade to some kind of riding gear. Some of them are quite heavy though, with the plastic reinforcing. Alright, got a taxi stopped in the middle of the lane here for some reason. That is a bit dodgy, eh? Why would you? You can't account for some of these driving practices. So this is just one of those intersections where people push across. Someone was trying to come in, turn left, right beside me, and push me over. But they slowed down enough for me to continue on my way. So it's a few more traffic lights and I get to my turn off at Jawalakel. And I'm just going to stop there because I'm not booked in. I'll just have a coffee, but I'm booked in for tomorrow night for 3 nights. I'm going to speak at a church on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm heading out of town west to Polkara and going on further. Oh yeah, there's a construction going on here. I'm going on further to a municipality called Salian. So tonight, I may head into Tamil. I'll probably be surprised I've turned up a day early. I could have stayed another night in Bunny Park, but my face is towards Solian. I wanted to go more remote this year, so that's the first objective, is far west to Salian. I was thinking about it, praying about it, and on my last day in Nepal, end of last year, I dropped off my bike at the storage place of my friends, and there was a guy there from that place, Salian, and I said I will come. So that's where I'm heading off, far west. I've been to Polkara before, which is a day's ride west of Kathmandu. So I'm going to stay there a day or two to recover from the first day's journey, and it's a nice place. And then head further west. Last year I did go further west from Polkara, but turn right at Muggling or something to go up into the Mustang Valley, up into the mountains with a friend, RJ. That was very nice. So it looks like we've got some road work. Someone said it's like a tunnel. So whether it's water or what, who knows. Let's just all push in together, merge like a zip. Merging like a zip. In Nepal you don't really look behind you. I have a bit of a look, but you just look out for whatever's happening in front of you. A bit like the traffic in Bali and other places in Asia. You just go, and anyone behind you should look out for you, get ready to slam on the brakes or toot their horn at you. And you do use the horn in Nepal to tell the guy in front that you want to come past. If you did that in New Zealand, you'd have road rage. So it's a good thing. That's one good thing about the traffic in Nepal, India. This guy just coming over to get past this, what he thinks is a slow traffic. Yeah, so I haven't seen too many accidents, but it'll be interesting to see the statistics. I would say it's motorbikes and trucks colliding, or buses, that cause the worst injuries. That's my assumption. Speaking of such, there's an ambulance up ahead going somewhere. Now sometimes when there's a traffic officer on duty, point duty at one of these intersections, he can make the ring road people wait quite a while, and I've seen them where some of them start tooting and then they join in the chorus, and the whole mass of bikers is tooting. The policeman gets a bit angry. He'll come over and talk to one guy in front, but he can't do much about it. and people will stop tooting until he turns his back. So the bikes let the policeman know if he's making them wait too long. So we just finding our way to the front. Hello. Busy taxi man. I used to use taxis a lot. Yeah, still on the ring road here. As you can see, it goes around in a ring. Right away, policeman waving his arms around. And we go down another hill up ahead where I turn off. So, you know, pedestrian crossings don't work that well in Kathmandu. I don't know whether people are obliged to use them. Sometimes you see a whole family get off the bus and try and get across the highway in their country traditional skirts and clothes, oblivious to the dangers they put themselves in. Get across here before traffic blocks us off. Oh, the lovely smell of Kathmandu. I should be wearing a mask. I don't know whether it would do much good. So, I always try and get out of Kathmandu as quick as possible. And get away from the smell and the expense. There's a hotel here. 2,000 rupees. It's about $25 New Zealand, and you'll spend about $20 on food for the day. But my camera cut out a bit there, but I'm approaching my last intersection to turn up. Friends of mine are down on the left side. Bible college, but I'm just up here a little bit on the right. I'm just going to get across here, and my workshop for this particular bike, Motorhead, is along here a little bit. I'll just sit here so people can pass me, and someone else behind me will do the same thing. Now this area on my right coming down the wrong side. In front of the policeman. Now this area here had a lot of Tibetan refugees come and dwell here, and over the years have built buildings and shops. So you can find Tibetan Momo restaurant on my left here, and Tibetan carpet shops, crafts and fabrics. And I've been here now for a few generations, since the Chinese come into Tibet. They probably wouldn't be allowed back in anyway. Chinese would rather depopulate the area. Whoa! You see that? He dropped her hat, he's running straight at me. I've seen it all. So I'm going to turn here. So this is Kathmandu, and my hostel I use a lot, Norwegian House is here. And straight ahead of me is Steel Tower, which some of the taxis know about. Not much of a steel tower. If I haven't got a room, I'm going to head into town. Feel like a cold shower after that lot. The proprietors are still in Australia, hoping to get back soon, and they are the gardeners and created something beautiful here. And this is the cafe, and this is Norwegian House. And I might have a nice coffee. They may even make meat pies. I think I'll try and stop this recording. Get the helmet off. Nice to see you.